Okay, so yeah, so in this session we are going to finalize our project. So, so in order to finalize our project, first we have to, till this time we are working on a test database because you should understand the concept, um, and the simple test database will simplify the things. But now we are going to refine the database and also the project structure. So what kind of project do you want to do? Is it a student management system, or what kind of project you want to do? So, right, right. So here the thing is like you, if you want to work on it, you can do multiple projects. But the thing is for training purpose, will take not too complex. So then can we say the patient management system we are going to, or if you say insurance, okay, okay. So we can start with insurance, and we can add the things when you go on, and after at some point you guys can continue working on it. So insurance, I'm just updating the existing database. So insurance management, insurance underscore management. Mhm. Yeah, we will come to that point and we'll answer it. So now we are going to create tables. So which one you want to see? Which screen you want to see? Is it a patient information? So we have TBL country, TBL state, and we'll add TBL city. Uh, so this TBL city, it will have ID. No, no, no. We are not going to see everything in the session. We are going to see one module. Then you guys can work on it. Okay. It will not allow nulls. Name varchar 50 remarks. We maintain the consistency. So remarks varchar 200. So these are the minimum like records, minimum tables SID. So SID will be small int. So this will be the primary key. So identity specification. You remember the steps, uh, relationships, add a new relation. So tables and columns. So the primary key table will be state ID, and primary key ID will be ID. So this is the existing table and this will be the SID. Okay, so just save TBL uh, city. Okay, so then which table you want to create? Uh, so is it the UI page for insurance, creating insurance policies, or so our patient information? What kind of insurance name, insurance description? So what you want to see? You understand in a project you will have multiple modules, right? Insurance policy is one, patient information is one. So, so concentrate on shall we concentrate on patient details like the complete patient information? Okay, we'll create a table called patient. So what information you want to see? So ID, this ID will be int. So I'm not taking the small int here because small int will store only few values. So here I'm taking integer and this will not allow nulls. So then uh, so if you want to capture patient information, so what kind of information you want to take? So name of the patient, where care, first name, last name you want to take or only one name? Only one name will take. Where it will be 50. So age or date of birth. So this will be date time. So we are not going to take age. So this is also mandatory field. What else you want to capture if you want to define a patient information into your insurance system? Uh, can you tell me date of birth and where he lives? So here address, address. So do you what kind of address you want to take? So is it yeah. So like house number, how you want to take the address? It's in a single column or you want to take it in a multiple columns? Or else you can do one thing, you can define address table. Yeah, ID int. Okay, so address house number, house number. So it will be a varchar street varchar 50. So here city ID. So this will be the small int. So just try to understand how the table relationship will happen. Small int. Why small int is not coming? Yeah, small int. City ID. If you store city ID, that would be fine. And zip code. Zip code. So it will be var 10. Okay. So this will be the primary key. Uh, this will be auto generated. This will be auto generated. Okay. And there is one more is communication address. Is communication address. So this will be a bit. So what data types we have? You see, we have a bit. Yeah, we have bit. So this is mandatory and remarks. I'm just keeping remarks for documentation purpose. Okay, the zip code, it's not, everything is mandatory except remarks. So this identities, the city will contain state. When you select city, it contains state and it contains country also. So yeah, so this identity specification, yes. Why it's not giving? Yeah, it's S. And now I want to create a relationship between uh, country and state and this table. So add new. So tables. So the primary table would be city and column would be ID. So in the current table, it will be city ID. Okay, so and where is the save button? Yeah, save it. So it's TBL address. It's TBL address. House number, street, city, zip code is communication address, yes or no, and remarks. Uh, that's it, right? Just say save. Yes. So now, so this will have uh, address 1 or what is this address. So this will be the integer. So communication address, again it's an integer. Communication address. Okay, we don't complicate the things. We just will have address here, and this is the integer address ID. You can say address ID. You can say okay. So ID, name, date of birth, address. Then what uh, you need? Uh, any medical complications as medical complications, again bit. What else you want to take? SSN in India, it's not possible. Uh, SSN, that's okay. We'll not take it. Any other information? I'm trying to make it. So in the UI, so when you are defining your uh, table, so you have to consider how your UI looks like. So here name, okay, name and date of birth you will enter here. So here you will provide address, and this address will have house number, like street, city drop down list to select, or country, state, city drop down list. Then zip code. Yeah, these are contact details. Okay, the phone number. Okay, uh, mobile. Yeah, mobile number. So this will be where char 15 I'll give. Sometimes with code you want to save it. So mobile number, are we taking mandatory? Uh, no, we are not taking mandatory. Email address. So this will be where char again 50. So this is also not mandatory. Um, has medical complications. What else you want to take? See, address we are taking care. Uh, any So this one, instead of medical complications, we will say medical notes, medical notes, and we will take it as where care 200. So there is a end text, binary bit char date time float, geometry, hierarchy ID, image, money, end text, nvarchar 50. So nvarchar max, invariant, var binary max, varchar max. So we'll take varchar max. Okay. So here he can specify medical notes, like if he has any complications and all other. Uh, what else? I think these are fine. So here you will have a zip code, mobile number, mobile, email, and then medical history, like that we can say. Uh, yeah, that's it. And if you want, we can update or we can add more uh, columns. So this one, this address ID, so this will be the primary key. So set primary key, and you can make it's a identity specification. So name, date of birth, it's a date, time, address ID. So this will be the foreign key. Set relationships, add tables and identity. So TB, what is that? Address ID, right? TBL ID. So this will be the address ID. Okay, and save it. PA patient information or patient details, whatever you want. Okay, so now your database is ready, just refresh it. So always you can come and you can update or you can add add things to your database. Okay, so I think now we are good to proceed. Um, uh, so let's open your application, the API. So this is your API. So where is your API? Okay, just go to project solution, open project solution. So is this first core API is your API? Let's see the controllers. Is this the API we are looking at it? Uh, First core API. Let's see second core. No, not this one. First core API. Yeah, I think this is the one we. But why there are no controllers? Okay, okay. Why it's because it's I'm trying to open a solution file and that's not a solution file. Okay, so again, now it's time to change your API name because it's not going to be your first API or first core API. So always in your applications, when you are developing applications, there is a chance you will rename the things, you will update the things at project level or solution level. So everything can be updated and it can be managed. So now I'm going to update this project name. So right click and rename it. So what is our project? So we are going to concentrate on patient management system. Um, so where we will manage the patients and all. So we'll name it as, can you think about, okay, so I'll say patient manage or patient API, patient API, I'll say patient API. So let's see, everything got updated here. So come here. First the solution name. Okay, come here. So rename. You rename this one also. PA patient API. Okay. So yeah, if you see, the project name get updated and also the solution name get updated. Patient API CS project. Go back one step here. Yeah, patient API. These folders you can rename it. You can rename from here. Copy this. Go back here. Okay. I need to close the project in the Visual Studio. Then I can do that. Yeah, I think now everything get changed. So there is one more. Rename this also. Okay, maybe I need to close this. The references will be there. That's why it's showing like that, but that's okay. So now we are good. Just run this. There were build errors. See what are the build errors maybe. Okay, the project didn't close. Just reload it. So when you rename the things, you may see some issues. So let's open one more time. Project solution. Okay, so add an existing item. Okay, so add this project. A file with API already exists. Why it's not showing then? It's not loading properly. Okay, come here. So rename. Oh, okay. Still there is a first API. You can delete this first core API. So first API, rename it. Okay. Um, Even you can rename the outside folder. So these things you will do when in your day-to-day activities. Um, Sometimes you need to rename the projects. Patient API. So let's see. One or more projects in the solution were not loaded correctly. Please see the type of output. So you can see the output type, and if this is not going to work, we are going to create a new project. But let's see and fix what is the issue. So you can open an existing project also. Let's try to open this one. Okay, so this is going to work. Maybe the solution file, it's not loading. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, your solution file is not working, but your API is working. Your patient, so everything is, I think it's working. So our master, try it out, exit, execute. So is it going to pull the data? Okay, so the SQL connection, that even the uh, table name, the database name get changed, right? So this is the situation. So you can go to your app settings, development. So what is the database name? We updated the database name. So it's insurance. It's no more test DB. It's a insurance DB. Yeah, just check it out. Okay, so it's going to work. Okay, execute. So now you can see the data, right? you can see the data. Just give me a sec. Okay, so any questions till now? The solution project is not working, but that's okay. I'll fix that one. Okay, so now we have to refine few more things. So how can we do that? Okay, so in our project we have iServices and services both in the same folder, right? So we are not going to have this, but in order to do that we need to fix the solution project. Why this is not working? Save. No, not save. So close this. API save changes to the following items. Save. So let's see where we have the solution file. Okay, close this. So why your solution file is not working? So one or more projects in the solution were not loaded correctly. Please see the output. But the output window is not showing any information. Okay, so let's try to reload the project. No, it's not working. Okay, so in that case, you can just open this in a text, open with, so open a notepad. So just drag and drop your solution. So this is going to be your solution project. So here if you see Microsoft, okay, project, patient API, first core API, okay. So do we have this folder? No, it's a patient API. So this didn't get updated, right? If you see patient API, so this is still referring the folder uh, first core API. This was wrong. Okay, so then see anything else? No, I think it's fine. Just save it. So these are the things you do when you uh, fix a project or rename a project. So you can see the solution. Now it's loaded. Okay. So now, yeah, just okay. Now it's working. The solution is working. Yeah. So the let's make sure. Why? Okay. It's in the debugging mode. Okay. Uh, Remove all the breakpoints. Disable all the breakpoints. Yeah, you got the data. So it's working fine. Okay, so now your services. So basically, everything, your API contains everything. So there is nothing wrong writing everything in your API, but there are a lot of like architectures available. Uh, we'll call it as a someone will call it as a onion architecture. Uh, like that, we have multiple architectures. So how this is going to look like? Uh, do onion architecture. So go to images. Yeah. So if you see, there are multiple layers: application layer, domain layer, infrastructure layer. Okay. So it depends on your application. So um, there is no definite definition, clear cut definition. Any architecture looks exactly like this. So the thought will be having multiple layers, and it depends how many layers you do. It depends on your project needs. So someone will say, like, they can have just business layer and models, and then the data layer. So some other projects they do, they combine data layer and models. In some other projects they write everything in a single project. So but Mhm. Yeah, that's why I'm telling. I worked on multiple projects on multiple architectures. So, this one, this project. So it's not a, like, I didn't define any architecture here. So I just separated the service layer in a different folder, but in the same project. So everything is in same project. If you see, if you look at the project, everything is in same project. So, but I separated services into a separate folder. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to create now. So right click on your solution. I'm going to put these I services and services into a different uh, folder. Then we are going to create a data folder which will have the entity framework. Then this models we are going to put it in a domain folder. Okay, so right click on your application, add new project. So this time it will be a class library project in the .NET Core. Class library. It's not Windows, it's not console. Is it a desktop? I'm finding really difficult in, okay, here WPF library. So, so not desktop. You can say console, console app, not console app. Extensions library. Yeah, WPF library. There should be class library. Yeah, this is .NET class library. Okay, so this is .NET framework class library, and this is .NET library, .NET class library. Okay, so I'm going to create this as a .NET Core class library, and I'm going to save it as, so ours is patient API, right? So I'll say patient uh, business, business. Okay, so this is a business logic. Um, so again, I'm selecting. So .NET 2, .NET 2.1, and .NET 8, it supports the backward. So I'm going to select .NET 8. Okay, so already we have these folders. and these uh, services, right? So I'm going to add new folder. Where is add new folder? Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. .NET framework means it's old legacy. .NET means it's .NET Core. Framework is the old one, and .NET Core is the new one. I services. So that's why you see for every type you will see two. Even MVC also you will see .NET Framework and .NET. For Windows application you will see .NET Framework and .NET. Okay, so iServices, I already defined these two iServices. So either I can add new services here and copy paste these things, or I can do in a different way. Right click, add existing item. I'm going to add an existing item. So existing item from API iServices. So select these two and add. iServices got added. So right click, existing item, API services, right click. Okay, and remove this from here. So delete, delete, and delete. Okay, so now, yeah, remove this. We don't need it. The class one. Okay, just say rebuild. There are few things you have to update. So still this is okay. So still the namespace is saying first core API, right? So right click, do uh, Alt Shift Control, Alt Shift Control. So file replaces. So first core API should be replaced with patient API. This is what we have done, right? So at solution level, this will look for this word, and this will uh, replace in all the files. So why it's not replacing? So find replace. Okay, there is, yeah, the replace all, replace next. So if you say replace all, it's going to replace in 32 places. It replaced. It replaced in 32 places. Okay, so now again come here, iMaster service. So this is API model. So country is not coming here. This is not API. Uh, it's patient business. Patient business. So this namespace concept I explained uh, in the in one of my video series. Okay, so using, so we need to define the models also. So here patient app, not it's a patient API, it's patient service. Okay, so now these models you have it in the you have it here, but I need to take them out so that I can use it in a different. project. So we name it as models. Okay, so now we are going to take a entity framework concept. So how can we do entity framework here? And first of all, do you know like what is entity framework and what is that entity framework is used for? Mhm. Yeah, so you can connect to your database using a middle layer called entity framework. So now I'm going to show how to do that. So for that we are going to create a data model. So DB context, just give me a sec, I'm just checking something. So this is data, object is data. Okay, so did you guys work on entity framework earlier? Any one of you? Okay, so there are many ways entity framework will work. So again, I'm going to create a new project. So it's a class library project. So what we should do to, so we'll say it as patient. So what name you want to give? So this entity framework project will contain all the information related to your database. So patient, we'll say it data. Okay, so it's a again long-term support 8 I am going to select. Okay, so how to use entity framework in your applications? So there are couple of ways you have to do, and couple of what we call nuget packages you have to install in order to make it work. Okay, so what are they? So there is a, always you can go and check, go to nuget packages, nuget man, nuget nuget official site. So it's, yeah, nuget.org. So here you can search for the uh, packages. What is that? Entity framework. So you can see there are a lot of things, and if you know the command, you can directly type Microsoft Microsoft dot entity framework core, entity framework core dot SQL server. So yeah, I think this is the one. So these are the commands you can use. So if it is a package manager, select this one. If it is CLI. This is the command. Okay, so I'm going to select this one, or you can say just .NET add package directly, or you can go here and say nuget packages. Where is it? Manage nuget packages. So here you can browse and you can search for it. So here you no need to give the version, and also not, you just check the command, the package whatever you want to add, server. So yeah, it's the same. You can see if you select it, you can see the same thing. Okay, you can do like this, or you can go to tools, nuget package, package manager console. I'm trying to install a nuget package for entity framework. So, oh, where did I installed in a wrong. Uh, so how to uninstall? Okay. So again do that installation. Here you select the project. I want to do that in the data, right? So how to make sure it got added? Go to the packages. Okay. So when you added this, you can see this .NET Core, SQLite, Entity Framework, SQL Server, Entity Framework Tools, configuration. Yeah, uh, code generation, design. Okay, and now you have to define your um, uh, DB context. So the DB context is important for your entity framework. So how can we define a DB context? Any idea? Okay. So now I'm going to add a DB context. I'll explain it again and I'll conclude and revisit the topic. So I'm going to add a new class and I'll say it as a patient patient underscore DB context. So this is the name. You can just rebuild it. So you can say it as a public class DB context. So this will be deriving from DB context. So this DB context, yeah, this will be deriving from DB context, and here this DB context will be used to connect to your database. So public, it's a patient DB context. This is the constructor. Okay, so then you can have another uh, constructor. So public patient DB context. So this will be DB context options, context options, and you can say your patient DB context. as options, and this is going to call the base options. So now this become your DB context. See what I have done here. Even you can skip if you want this one. I'm going to comment this. So you're creating a DB context class which will inherit from DB context, and this is the constructor, parameterized constructor, where you are providing DB context options and your class name as a type, your class name and options, and you're calling the base. So this makes your class as a DB context. So we have few models, right? So in the API, so here we have few models. So what are those models? Country is the one model. So copy this, or if you want, you can make this partial data, right click, existing item, patient API, go to the models. Okay, copy all these models. We'll make changes to it. Okay, so here you can remove all these models from here. So if you want to make them in the model folder, that would be also fine. Yeah, okay. So remove these, all this, 1, 2, 3, 4, delete them, add one more time, create a new folder called models, add. Are you guys with me, or you are feeling you lost somewhere? So I'm adding existing items. Hello. So the model. So this one I'm going to say patient data. So the namespace I'm changing it. So even for this fruit model also it will be, you don't need these results. This is fruit model, student model. I think we don't need the student model anymore. So here in this DB context, what we are going to do, public virtual. So now we are going to specify this as a model. So country. So there is a better way you can generate the models. I'll uh, show that. So right now what I'm doing, I'm trying to map the existing ones. That's it. So public virtual. So DB set state. States get set. So I'm going to remove this from here. So then even I'm going to comment out a few controllers. So the fruit control I'm completely commenting out because it's not more required. Student also I'm commenting out. Test controller you can keep it. Values controller you can keep it. Weather forecast also you can keep it. Okay. So now go back to your this one and fix it. Okay. Even we don't need this model, we are going to remove them, and student model also. Okay. So now just build it. But we need to specify our connection string somewhere. to the database and all. And we are going to see how we are going to do that. In .NET Core, we'll do it in a different way. Okay. So right click and rebuild your solution. It will give some errors. Okay. So why this is iMaster service? Okay. So now your iMaster service, it is referring this country model, right? But where the model exists in your pa patient data. So this project need to add reference to your patient data, add reference or add project reference. So patient data, you're going to add it here. So after that, this patient service, it's going to use using patient data dot models. Yeah, now it's going to fix it. Okay, even the student service. So we are not going to use this. We are not going to use this. Okay. So again, you rebuild your solution. Okay. So there are issues with your API because this API is using your iMaster service. So where is this iMaster service? It's this iMaster now. It's there in the uh, business logic, right? So right click your project, add reference. So add project reference and say it's a business. So here you can specify using patient business. So this iMaster still it's not okay. Dot iServices, and also it needs to use models also it needs to use. So right click, add reference, project reference, and it's using first I'll execute the code, then I will explain it. API dot models. Okay. So remove this fruit controller. We don't need it. Home controller and student controller, test controller, value controller. All this I am removing. I don't want to mix. So now rebuild the solution. Okay. So patient DLL business could not be found. Where? Why it's not? Okay. Rebuild it. Okay. Now again rebuild it. Okay. So the business. Okay. Why could country could not be found? In which controller? It's in. Oh, okay. So yeah, when you are having multiple projects, so make sure all are. Uh, so this iMaster service. So using patient business dot iServices. So this one needs to use patient data dot models. So if one of the project didn't build successfully, then your solution will fail when you have multi projects. So now it succeeded. Oh no, the iServices does not have. Okay, okay, these things we can remove. Okay, now the student service also we don't have it. Uh, okay, this one we have. So now this iMaster is there in using, no, so using patient business dot iServices. So using patient business dot services. Okay. Yeah, I think now it's it's working fine. Okay. Okay. So get master, try it out, execute. So is it throwing some error or what? Okay, it's fetching the data. Okay, just debug this and see and how it's going to fetch data from different layers. Okay, execute. Okay, so here get countries. So this get countries, it's there in the master service in a different project. It's there in a master service in a different project. So still it's not using the entity framework, but we are going to do that entity framework stuff in the next session. It's working. So let me summarize what I have done. Okay, so first I created, there are three projects right now. So this API, it contains only controllers. Okay, it contains only controllers. So you can remove this one also. So this contain only controllers, nothing else this API will contain. So this is the project business which will contain your business logic in terms of iServices and services. So this iServices you already know. Okay. This has master service has two methods, like get countries is the one method and get states is the another method. And it's still using SQL connection, which we are going to convert it into entity framework in next session. And the models. So this country is a model. So where we are using those models in the patient data. So now we have three different projects and how the references. This patient data reference, you have it in the, you can go to the dependencies and you can go to the, so patient business project is referring patient data. Okay, and patient API, you can go to the properties, no, dependencies and project. So this API is referring patient business and patient data. If you go to patient data, it is not referring anything. This patient data is not referring any any project. This patient business is referring only the patient data, and this patient API is referring patient data and patient business. So when your controller, in your controller, what you're doing, just you're making a call to the service, get countries and get states, and this is going to execute. Go to the implementation. So this is going to execute the code which is there in a different project, and it's going to fetch the data. And when you are deploying this application, so you will deploy this project only. You will deploy this project only. So you will deploy this project which internally references to the other two projects. So any questions here? I know this is little, the path we choose is a little difficult path, but this is the real time scenario. So when you are working on your project, um, so I converted a single project into multiple layers. So first what I have done, I renamed the earlier project. Then I restructured the project. I reorganized the projects and reorganized the solutions. So any questions here? Whether did you understand it or nothing you understood? Hello? So, okay. So the thing is, yes, you understand, that is good, but you try to do whatever I have done. Whether if you have a existing project, that's fine. If you don't have existing project, so create a new project. Just create a new API, then add a new business class library, then add a new data class library project, then add these files manually, add these files manually, then refer them here and try to achieve whatever I have done. So if you want to go with the same file names, like with line by line, if you want to copy and paste, that's fine. But try to do this. And definitely, when you are doing it, you will see the errors. And if you fix the errors, you will get more understanding. Yeah, I'll see whether I can send it because it's a solution file. Um, I'll see. I'll try to. But the thing is, like I can send this project, but if you do things on your own, that will help. I can send this project, but what I'm saying, first you try, okay, and I will see. Okay, let's do this. I'm not going to send this project. So go through this video and try to replicate the things. And if you see issues, you try to fix them. And if you don't find solution, that's fine. Tomorrow we will see in the session. So first 15 minutes or half an hour, how much time it might take. Or if you want a separate session, we'll take a separate session to fix the solution in each one of your system. So that helps. So first try to make changes on your own and try to spend time in fixing them. Then so then we can discuss it. And if you want, you guys take the snapshot of the screen now, whatever it looks like. So the same structure you can define. Okay. So this is a .NET Core API. This is .NET Core library project. This is .NET Core library project. Okay. So Tejaswini, Pratyusha, Raj, you have any questions? If you have, you can ask upfront or you can contact me later also. But but try doing the things. Uh, Pratyusha, for you, I know the database is not there, but this is not related to database. You can just create the project and you can uh, create the structure. Okay. So I hope all you try and we'll see something tomorrow. Okay. And in next session, we'll see how to convert this into entity framework. Now we are using this legacy pattern. So ADO.NET, and we are not going to do that, and we are going to use the entity framework. Okay. Okay, then we'll see tomorrow. Um, yeah, I'll mention it in the group, the next session. Okay. Okay, then. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.